fine, but you just can't get into it because
Today on Range Time, I wanted to explain in depth the trigger adjustments that are available in ACE. Some folks are a little confused with how that works, and I know there's a tutorial available here on it that you can go ahead and watch, as well as on ACE's website. But a little bit more explanation might help. So, with that, let's get started. To adjust your trigger sensitivity, go under Settings, and we'll see down here there's the tooltip over it as well. They'll give you the calibration video talking about the wall and the gray value and things like that, and I think this warrants a little bit extra discussion. So in this case, on this particular handset with these particular items on it, you want to make sure first that the value is at 0.00. If it's anything other than that, something is pressing the trigger on the controller, not the handset's trigger, but the controller's trigger. So I'll demonstrate that by pressing it directly. This would be incorrect. Anything other than 0, because whatever setup you have, probably not from ACE directly, they take great care in making sure this doesn't happen, but whatever setup you have is pressing and putting pressure on that trigger of the controller, and you need to sort that out. So with whatever you've got going on physically in the real world. So that's the first thing to check. The next thing to check is on your controller. We can see I'm moving the trigger here in the virtual space. It moves a little bit, and as we do that, this value here changes. So watch, my wall is right around that 0.9. I can feel if I push any harder on my trigger, it's going to break. So I want to take a mental note of that 0.09. So when I pull the trigger all the way through, pin it to the rear, right? My value is right around a 0.30. So 0.09 would be my bare minimum. I'm actually a little above that, because if I don't, I can have double fires and other issues. And I don't want it to be necessarily 0.30, because that's pulling all the way through, and there's actually a gasket stopper type thing inside the controller that prevents like plastic hitting hard metal and things like that. So there is a little give there. So for example, if I just pull it like a normal trigger pull, right, I'm around a 0.19, pinning it hard, 0.30. 0.19. So you get the idea. So in my case, I set it somewhere between that 0.09 and the 0.20-ish range. So in my case, 0.13. Now, there's no difference really for me in my experience in this case with this controller between a 0.13 and a 0.15. Still fires just fine. We'll go ahead and put it back down. Fires just fine. So when you're tuning it, don't think necessarily because like a 0.08 or 0.07 is better. That's breaking before my wall. That's some people's controllers are just within that little bit of different tolerance than mine are. So I set mine up to where I can bring it to the wall. It's not going to break. You can see it was flashing 0.10 there a little bit. And I just set it a few points above that. And then I know when I do my normal press, it's going to go right around that 0.19, 0.20 range. This can vary handset to handset too. So I have multiple handsets, and I'll put my Meta controller in another handset, and it's different. If someone has like an aftermarket trigger they slide in, do what you want. Same thing, that can vary greatly depending on the quality of the print, depending on what style of trigger it is as well. That can influence that value. So anytime you change something in the real world with your handset, you want to come back here and validate that you're within those ranges. So again, the wall, the hard press, the wall, the normal press. Figure those ranges out, play with the values in here, and make sure that this is 0.00 when it's sitting at rest. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues. So I hope that in-depth explanation helps a little bit more, and you can go ahead and kind of figure out what's going on with your trigger and your handset and get it working for you. So we'll see you next time on Range Time.